Whirlwind Plus got even better. Go to whirlwindgolf.com, click on Play Whirlwind Events and Drawings, and you'll already see how great Whirlwind Plus is. And now you can play Monday through Thursday up until September 1st and give your great Whirlwind Plus rate to your entire foursome. That means if the highest price tee time that day is $89 and the lowest price is $59, all members of your foursome only pay the $59 rate. Go to whirlwindgolf.com and let your whole foursome feel the wind.
Thanks for listening, Unplugged Army. I'm Louis Unga, General Manager at Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. We're proud to present Doug Franz Unplugged.
Forming offense. Forming offense.
4 minutes.
Forming offense. Forming offense.
Everything you need to know in sports that affects Maricopa County, the state of Arizona, and the world, you get in 4 minutes. We start things off in downtown Phoenix. Bad news before the game, bad news during the game. Diamondbacks a loser, 7-0 to the Dodgers. Before the game, it was announced starting pitcher Corbin Burns has suffered a strain of the right shoulder. He might not return till September, if at all. Then Ketel Marte was given an off day because his hamstrings were tight, and Torey Lovullo thought he might break. Not my quote. Then during the game, Shohei Ohtani threw a 2-hit, 6-inning shutout, and then at the plate, he went 3 for 4 with 2 walks. Manager Torey Lovullo.
Rough day today. Just couldn't get anything going offensively. Their starting pitcher was very good, but I feel strongly about our group and being able to go out there and run up some good at-bats and challenge any good starting pitching. To get to where we got to get to, we got to beat that type of starting pitching. So you guys saw it. It wasn't pretty.
Up next, Diamondbacks try to earn the split of the 4-game series against the Dodgers. Justin Wrobleski goes for LA. He's 7-2 with a 2.87 ERA. Ryan Nelson for the Diamondbacks. He's 2-4, 4.82 ERA. He'll throw the first pitch downtown, 6:40. Mercury picked up their 3rd win of the year. They beat Seattle 72-68, and I bet Seattle would like to talk to the officiating. Your free throw disparity. The Mercury went 21 of 27 from the line. The Storm only went 3 for 5. Up next, Mercury dropped down the coast to take on Portland in Oregon tomorrow night. 2 media get-togethers in Tempe yesterday. First with ASU coach Kenny Dillingham. Coach, what do you think of the new legislation on Capitol Hill to regulate college sports?
I'm really for anything that is driven for players and athletes. And when I say that, I mean all players and athletes. So that's the tricky part. It's like players and athletes finances, players and athletes Olympic sports, all players and athletes. And sometimes those goes versus each other.
And then afterwards, the Rate Bowl announced that they're not the Rate Bowl anymore, and they're not in downtown Phoenix anymore. The title of the second bowl game associated with the Fiesta Bowl reverts back to the Cactus Bowl, and it's reverting back to Sun Devil Stadium. Former ASU quarterback and Cactus Bowl legend, Rudy Carpenter.
I would imagine that a lot of the teams in the Midwest, or really anywhere, going to want to get out here during the time of year the game is, right? The weather's nice, it's beautiful, it's a great place to come.
Knicks perform another Game 1 comeback, this time down by 14 to the Spurs. Jalen Brunson, 13 points in the 4th quarter, 30 for the game. Knicks win by 10, 105-95. Up next, Knicks at San Antonio, Game 2 tomorrow evening. Speaking of Game 2, we'll be in Carolina tonight for the Stanley Cup Finals. Despite being down 2-0 in the game, Vegas came back and won Game 1. Face-off in the Carolina capital, 5 o'clock. Russell Wilson made it official yesterday. He is retiring from the NFL. He made the Pro Bowl 10 times in his 14 years, threw for almost 47,000 yards, and I'm sure I don't need to remind you, but he was a Super Bowl champion in 2013. United States Women's Open starts today at 6:45. The ladies are at Riviera Country Club in LA. Nelly Korda gets underway at 7:29. For the PGA event, they're at Muirfield in Dublin, Ohio for the Memorial Jacks tournament. Rory, what have you been doing for the last few weeks?
We got ourselves settled in to our house in London for the summer. A little bit of practice. Stopped off at Shinnecock on the way to here on Monday. Scouted a little bit and played.
Rory goes at 7:25. World number 1 Scotty Scheffler at 10:35. And finally, meet Michael DiBiase of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He's charged with pointing and presenting a firearm at a person, but I say it's self-defense because the other person was heating up fish in the inner office microwave. You just can't do that. I mean, he just pointed the gun. It's not like he shot the guy. Oh, there's also something I forgot to tell you. It happened at the Myrtle Beach Police Department. The argument was between two cops. Michael DiBiase is an actual Myrtle Beach police detective. He pointed his gun after a confrontation with a simple Myrtle Beach patrolman who was really warming up his fish in the microwave. And it, quote, caused a terrible odor in the office. In case you're wondering, Michael DiBiase is a former detective in the Myrtle Beach Police Department now.
Hello, this is General Tom. I love Bell's Nashville Kitchen because they support Doug Franz. They were the original sponsor, and I relish the podcast that I give each day almost as much as their fries.
Bell's Nashville Kitchen on Main Street in Old Town Scottsdale.
You found home, down home.
Unplugged Army, meet 13-time world pizza champion Tony Gimignani.
We're different, when it comes to thinking about your favorite pizzeria across the nation. I always say when you look at Slice House, pick your 3 or 4 favorites, put it in one. That's why we have Detroit, Grandma, Sicilian, New York. So it's not really a one-stop shop. It's like, wow, I got to try that one the next time I come in. So it's unique.
Slice House is in Gilbert at Pecos and Val Vista near Santan Ford. Hey, respect the craft.
I got to tell you, for a long time, I was pretty grumpy. 45-minute wait for the doctor. Didn't have time to golf. Then the Diamondbacks performance. But somehow the cop pulling the gun on the guy trying to heat up his fish just made me feel a lot better. Good morning. That's protecting and serving. Good afternoon, good evening. Whenever it is that you've decided to make Doug Franz Unplugged a part of your day, my family greatly appreciates it. My name is Doug Franz, and you have found the only podcast in the world totally devoted to the coverage of the 4 major sports franchises of one great American city that drops on your phone each and every weekday morning. We also cover ASU, U of A, GCU, the Rollins Rising, the Merc. Yeah! This is Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. How are you? Totally meant it. Yesterday's kind of a crappy day, to be honest, and a little bummed. And then when I was getting ready for today's show and I read about a cop pulling a gun on another cop because he was heating up fish in the office microwave. Is it really that dangerous? Because I won't go there. It is just so funny to me because the arrogance of the guy that thinks it's okay to heat up his fish in the microwave is just so dumb. So dumb. Then we got to put a stop to it, don't we? DiBiase was protecting and serving us. And I think that's very, very important. I appreciate that. Notice his name was Michael DiBiase. Not Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Do you know it's hilarious? Out of everybody at the station, at the old workplace, one of the first people I met was Craig Grialou. Craig Grialou, who now works for the Arizona Cardinals, is a very honorable man. And he had business cards and walked right up to me. It was extremely early on. I think it was late December. I moved here in like December 29th of 2006 or something like that. And I think I met him on Monday the 2nd, I think. And he gave me his business card. I might have met him on the 31st, I think, now that I think about it. Yeah, it was like on the 30th or the 31st. And when I met him, he gave me his business card and he said, hey, I know you're new in the city. If there's anything I can do to help you get settled, get to know the town, introduce you to people, I'd be glad to. I just thought that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing because you can imagine there were, like, Craig Greeley wanted to be a reporter. He did not have a desire. He wanted to be a reporter and a play-by-play guy. He did not have a desire to be a talk show host. He's very good at his job, a very good man. But I just thought it was so kind because so many people wanted different roles. And here I am coming in from out of town. And there were a lot of good people already employed by that company at the time. It was recently Bonneville, but just very, very recently. So I was so appreciative of Craig being that way. But I bring him up because I'll never forget finding out what an enormous WWE fan he is. And at the time, WWF. For me, I loved it as a kid. And then until WrestleMania 3. After WrestleMania 3, Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. I was like, I'm done here. There's nothing that's going to happen is going to be better than this moment. I kind of moved away from it, and then finding out that Gree is just all in. Just absolutely all in. It is so funny to me. I do admire their athleticism, but I just can't get... I mean, we know it's fake, and then therefore it's like, okay, this is like a male soap opera, and I don't like soap operas, so I'm not in it. Not judging if you are. I'm not in it. Glad I thought of Craig Greeley today. Puts me in a good mood. Yeah, yesterday was rough because had about 2.5 hours sleep, and then I can function. I'd rather, if I can just get 4 is the magic number for me. I can function on 2.5. But what happened is I had to sit. I went to the doctor's office and then had to wait 45 minutes for my appointment. My appointment was at one time, and 45 minutes later, I'm now seeing the doctor. That was rough because this sounds funny. I don't have the stamina to do that because I had 2.5 hours sleep and I'm sitting on this uncomfortable chair. I'm kind of sleeping, kind of not, kind of standing, kind of sitting. My back's hurting. I mean, it was rough. So then this appointment wasn't that far from the Wigwam. So I'm thinking, well, I'll just go golf. But I was so tired. I thought, you know what? Let's do some adulting. I'll go home and I'll get some rest. So I go home and I get some rest, and I try to. But now it's just all disjointed. I fell asleep for about 45 minutes, and then I started getting a bunch of texts from people. And I'm like, oh, no. So then I'm awake with these texts, and I finally give up, interview Bobby Mack, who's coming up on the show, and then I should be able to get some good sleep today. But it was a weird day. And then the Diamondbacks. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Let's get to it. It's time for Doug's Big One. It's my number one opinion of the day, and it's been Biggie-Sized by your local Wendy's. Home of the Biggie Bite, Biggie Bag, and Biggie Bundle. You choose your Biggie Bag or step up big. Get the new, improved, spicy chicken sandwich at your local Wendy's. Let's roll. Doug.
Where's Doug? Here, sorry, Doug. Where are you at?
Yeah, was that a plug to unplug?
Thanks, Doug.
Doug had given me a stat.
With that, I am happy to take your questions. Let's start with Doug.
This is a great question, Doug.
Well, I can only answer the questions that get asked of me, Doug.
Obviously, Franz is such a good player.
Doug's Big One. Torey Lovello. Quote, full body fatigue. Marte battles this all year long, and you guys know how much he means to this team. I know how much he means to this team. But it got to the point where the low back tightness and hamstring tightness, when he gets to this level, there's a chance he could break. And we're going to miss him for weeks instead of a day. So I will trade 1 day for 2 weeks. Unquote. There's a chance he could break. as a way to let you know the difference between baseball in 2026 during the wussification of America. And I would say even baseball just 25 years ago, definitely in the early 90s, and tripled from the beginning of baseball through the 1970s. Definitely in that time. For the first, say 85 years of the game. If you took an important day off against a first place team with their best pitcher on the mound, claiming full body fatigue, you would get punched in the face. Now, the manager gives you a day off because of your full body fatigue. In no way am I advocating violence by saying this, but I agree with the old way of baseball. The dead air there, the reason why there's dead air is I'm trying to think, am I really going to say what's on my mind? Because there's going to be ramifications. But that's the name of the show. It is Doug Franz Unplugged. I don't worry about the ramifications. I say what I think. I cannot help but look at this through the prism of how I was taught to play the game and how I was taught the game is. And that, my father would never have said, hey, if your teammate doesn't want to go up against a tough pitcher, you punch him in the face. My dad never in a million years would he have advocated that in any way. No, I mean, not even remotely even said this is the game. But every strong coach I ever had, and then every manager I met along the way, the players I met along the way. When I say along the way, I mean my journey. 1995, the first Ohio University men's baseball play-by-play man. From 1998 until 2003, I think it was. I am living in Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm very close to the different people involved in the Huntsville Stars organization. They don't exist now, but they used to be the AA affiliate of the Oakland A's, and then they were the AA affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers. They eventually left Huntsville, and then now Madison, Alabama, a suburb of Huntsville, got a AA team. Long story there, but just to say, I was around that team a lot, talked to a lot of players, talked to a lot of coaches. This would not happen. And I bet you if you talk to old school baseball players, just think about this. There's three elements to this that amaze me. One, it's the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers. And you have full body fatigue. Number two, it's Shohei Ohtani, who can hurt your batting average since you've been hot lately. So instead of being an unbelievable competitor saying, I love these opportunities. I want to go against the best. It's time to shut it down. And number three, and here's the one where I'm a little nervous because people within the Diamondbacks organization, the few people left that respect me, this is one of those comments where they're going to go, come on, Doug, you don't know Cattell like that. That's ridiculous. I can hear them say it. but it's what I'm thinking, so I'm going to say it. I find it very interesting that it coincides with Zach Gallen's start. You see, last year, Nick Pecoro reported that there were a lot of upset people in the Diamondbacks clubhouse when Ketel Marte did not come back as scheduled from a quick trip to the Dominican Republic. Totally bailed on his team. It amazes me still to this day that he's here. Even though he's been incredibly hot lately, even though he's played some actually really good defense, other than overrunning his own teammates, he has played really good baseball for the last month. And I got to tell it like it is. This mini surge the Diamondbacks were on before Seattle, he has a lot to do with it. Give him credit. But what I can't help but remember, when you are approaching the trade deadline and everybody knows that the Diamondbacks don't start winning, guys are going to be sent away. Guys who have homes, guys who have families, guys who are engaged to be married to someone close to the end of the season in Phoenix. You could be traded. You could be sent away. And a way to stop it from happening is to win. And at that moment, when you need your teammates to be at their best, Ketel Marte wasn't even there. And now, again, in a moment when the Diamondbacks need him, in a moment when Zach Gallen has been bad, Ketel Marte's not there. Is there any chance at all Zach Gallen, who was on the trade block and the Diamondbacks didn't get a great offer for, was one of those people that voiced his opinion of how upset he was that Ketel Marte didn't come back from the DR at the appropriate time? I don't know. I just look at those three factors and I say, if Ketel Marte really has some bad hamstrings, boy, number one, is it convenient that those three things line up: Dodgers, Ohtani, Gallen. And I also look at it and say, you can't suck it up? Like, Torey Lovullo is clearly somebody that enables this. Because, Torey, I have to ask you a simple question. If you're worried about him, quote, he might break, do you have the same concerns for Corbin Carroll? Are you concerned Corbin Carroll might break? I honestly have been sitting, well, I like not in this chair that long, but I have been wondering for a little while, when do I need to give a recantation on my opinion from last year? It's either got to be Torey or Ketel. Torey or Ketel. You can't bring them both back. And in saying that, Ketel Marte has been really, really good. And Torey Lovullo, amidst, in my opinion, not a great bullpen and not a great starting staff, has managed them into being a very good starting staff and an excellent bullpen. There are so many aspects of this team that Torey Lovullo should be getting some credit for. There's a lot of things that still drive me nuts about this team, but they are a half game out of an 8-team mess in the wild card right now. Padres, Pirates, and Cardinals are all tied for the 3 wild card spots. They all sit there 1, 2, 3. And then 4, 5 is Diamondbacks Phillies only a half game out of that mess of the three-way tie. Below them is the Cubs, who are a game back, and the Reds, who are a game and a half out. It's that packed. 7 teams within a game and a half. Torey deserves credit. He's got this group in that hunt. But he's also the same guy that beat up on the Rockies and the Giants, and now up against the Mariners and the Dodgers in this little stretch right here. He's 1-5. No, I am not saying, I know you've been wanting me to say it forever. I am not saying fire Torey Lovullo. But this is why I was right, and I'm further from recanting than I have been in a while. I mean, I thought it was almost time to say, hey, this is working. Torey and Ketel are working. I was wrong. And I see this yesterday where Ketel Marte needs a break because he might break. I mean, I seriously was just starting to believe in this team. And when I see stuff like that, it's like, I believe that stuff is irreparable. And I'm really shocked not enough people in the media are talking about it. I mean, if you know the game, maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe I don't know the game anymore. Maybe what I know is 15, 20, 25 years old. That 25 years ago, yes, Doug, you're right. This would be a catastrophe in the locker room. There would be a fight. But not anymore. So since it's not anymore, it's not a story. Move along. And that could be the truth. Move along. But gosh, I gotta believe there's somebody in that locker room, in that clubhouse. There's somebody that has such a insurmountable fire of competition that gets angry when a teammate doesn't push through. You telling me there's other guys, nobody else in that clubhouse has full body fatigue? You telling me that there aren't guys in there playing through incredible pain? And the other thing is, you're a baseball player. It's June 4th. Try being a construction worker in June in Phoenix, Arizona. How about that? Try being a single mom who drops the kid off at daycare, works a difficult job during the day, picks up some hours still on her feet as a waitress, and takes care of her kids at night. Does she have full body fatigue? You had all, the Diamondbacks weren't doing anything in October last year. You had October, November, December, January, February. Oh, yeah, that's right. You had to work in February. And now we have full body fatigue. And no one else is talking about this. It's the Dodgers. It's Shohei Ohtani. Oh, my hamstring. I just can't imagine what kind of leadership there would have been. Johnny Bench, young catcher, early 70s, the beginning of the Big Red Machine. Got a game against the Mets. Oh, wait, I got to go against Tom Seaver? Oh, the back. Full body fatigue. I'll be fine tomorrow when the guy that's 5-8 is going on the mound. But today, oh my gosh. Full body fatigue. That's Doug's big one. Santan Ford employee pricing still going on the last few days of the Memorial Day sale. $15,000 off a bunch of different cars. I mean, and mostly the trucks is where you get the $15,000 worth of savings. It's huge. F-150 XLT, Ford Lightning, $8,000 off a Super Duty, or go for the Expedition or Explorer where you can have $8,000 or $7,000 off, and then, oh yeah, $7,500 off the Mustang right now. There you go. Employee pricing for you at Santan Ford. By the way, there's an Unplugged Army discount. If you let me know you're going. Email me, Doug at DougFranzUnplugged.com. Go to SantanFord.com. I am Santan Ford. So pregame, we learned some pretty bad news. Corbin Burns suffered a strain of a major muscle in his right shoulder, and they just said point blank, it's going to be months, not weeks, that it takes to bounce back from this. Supposedly, he had thrown about 15 bullpens and was feeling very good, was right on schedule. And in his first time facing live batters, he's got the shoulder strain. It brings up a lot of interesting scenarios for 2026, and it's mainly why bring him back in September. Now, I think the standings are going to dictate that. And then you have to ask the crazy question, would you ever bring him in out of the bullpen? That way you just control the innings. I'll never forget Daniel Hudson coming back from 2 Tommy John surgeries. And I was at the ballpark when it was announced he was going to under the knife for his second one, when he tore his UCL. And that's when he became a reliever. It's like, listen, I got to be able to control my innings better. And he stopped being a starting pitcher. And no, that's not going to happen to Corbin Burns from anything that I know about it. But I do think that from just a where are we at standpoint, if the Diamondbacks are not contending, then unless it's some kind of token outing that it's the last game of the year, do you want to throw a couple innings? It's good weather, whatever. And you let him out there so he has something to build off of next year. Okay, knock yourself out. But if they're not in contention, there's no reason to even have him out there unless it's a feel-good story. If the Diamondbacks are in contention, well, then I look at it and think, I wonder if it's better if you can control his outings and he's just pitching 2 or 3 innings. Maybe he's an opener. And, it's going to be strict, hey, you're going to pitch 2 innings and be done. The problem with that is it's not like he's not competing out there, so he's going to give it his all, and that might be what you're trying to avoid. It's going to be really fascinating to see how they handle a guy that's not due back now until September, when we have no idea where the Diamondbacks will be in the December race. The game last night, a 7-0 loss. And listen, Shohei Ohtani's good, right? I mean, if you really think about it, we don't recognize the brilliance in the moment a lot. But let me make up a stat. I mean, this is true. This really happened yesterday, but it's just so strange. I can't imagine this has happened very often, and maybe it's happened a lot with Shohei himself. Shohei Ohtani walked twice and issued 1 walk. I mean, how many times in baseball history has any player walked more often than walks that he gave up? Now, I realize the National League has had pitchers bat every year other than 2020 since the beginning of time. And the American League, most of those years. So I know that it's happened. I don't know who did it, but I know that it's happened. But that was just phenomenal to me last night. 2 walks at the plate on top of going 3 for 4, in which he had 3 singles, 2 walks, 6 plate appearances, and he's on base on 5 of them. That was Shohei's day yesterday. And on top of it, He had more hits than he gave up. He had three hits. He gave up 2. I mean, that's real, right? I mean, I'm not touching that. That's real. But I still didn't feel like the Diamondbacks truly competed yesterday. Here's Torey Lovello.
Rough day today. Just couldn't get anything going offensively. Their starting pitcher was very good, but I feel strongly about our group and being able to go out there and run up some good at-bats and challenge any good starting pitching. To get to where we got to get to, we got to beat that type of starting pitching. So, look, you guys saw it. It wasn't pretty. It was not great on the mound either. I thought Zach was showing signs of picking up some steam, but then he made some mistakes and he got jumped. And this is one of those situations where we got to be better in all areas of the game. And we got a chance to come out here tomorrow and salvage a split, and that's got to be our main focus. This was a rough game. It's not fun to be a part of. It had no flow, no rhythm to it. It's just one of those you got to chalk up to. Let's go get it. Figure out what went right, what went wrong. There was a lot that went wrong. Very little went right, and coach it up and come out tomorrow.
Let's talk about the things that I noticed that went wrong. This is an area where you might totally disagree with me. I used to get in a lot of trouble at the station for my old school ideas. Shohei Ohtani was very effectively wild. Had quite a few pitches that were right at guys' knees and a couple that were at their head. And then he acted like he didn't mean it at all. Well, he might not. Like one of them was a sweeper when you know he doesn't mean it, but he still did it. And he benefited by almost hitting guys all night. And this is one of the rare situations in baseball nowadays where the pitcher is batting. And nobody threw inside to Ohtani. And that's where the debate goes. Some people say that's ridiculous. Why would you even hint at throwing at Ohtani? And again, old school baseball is you're going to be throwing the ball inside on my guys. I'm throwing the ball inside on you. Just to let you know, we're here too. I never in my life have advocated for throwing at someone's head, ever. And that is old school. You know, the Bob Gibsons of the world. He once plunked his own former roommate. I mean, Bob Gibson didn't mess around. Don Drysdale didn't mess around. I mean, this was the way the game is played. Even, I would say the last one that was still just in your face, I'll plunk you if I have to, was Pedro Martinez. And not even if I have to, just because you're out of line. Well, Ohtani's throwing inside. Nobody challenges him inside. I don't like that. Number 2 in the game. Second inning, really bad throw from Perdomo. So now his offense is feeding into his defense. Gallen, in a sense, goes 1-2-3 in the first, even though he gave up a base hit to Ohtani. Freeman grounded into a 6-3 double play, getting Ohtani out at second. So Gallen faces the minimum 3, and then boom. Second inning, Mookie Betts gets on via an error from Geraldo Perdomo, and Kyle Tucker hits his 5th home run of the year, and it's 2-0. I'm looking at the Diamondbacks wondering, I understand Jose Fernandez is doing a great thing by morphing around the bases. As a rookie, he's playing shortstop, he's playing third, he's playing first. I get it. And he's not a trained first baseman. And maybe it's not natural yet. But his feet were all messed up on the base. And I've told you before, heels on the bag, toes on the dirt, step to the ball. And I don't see that. I don't see the fundamentals of playing first base being acted upon. Maybe it's not natural yet, but I got a problem with that from a coaching standpoint. I think that's, you might say, well, Doug, it's one of the, Jose Fernandez was not a natural first baseman. That's when I rely on the coaches. I think it's harder when you've been taught to play first base by a bad coach, and now you got to break the habit of what you learned. This guy hasn't learned how to play first. There should have been a coach that's got fresh meat. Hey, this is what we're doing. Obviously, panic changes everything if that's what happened. Then in the third inning, I do want to say this is bad luck for Zach Gallen. As frustrated as I am with myself for thinking Zach Gallen was going to have a good year, this is, it's his fault for allowing batters on. He's the one that walked Ohtani to start the inning. He's the one that gave up the double to Paget. I did it again. Andy Pages. Man, that's distracting to screw up like that. So you got runners on second and third, and Freddie Freeman hits about a 65-mile-an-hour fister in between Nolan Arenado and the third base line. They're playing him to pull. Arenado's basically playing shortstop, and a 68-mile-an-hour two-run single from Freddie Freeman. I mean, that's tough luck. That is tough luck. Sometimes when somebody gets a wimpy base hit through the shift, I get upset at the pitcher still because you didn't pitch to your defense, right? You knew they were in a shift and you gave him a pitch that he could do something else with. So if you would have pitched Freddie Freeman outside, if Gallen would have pitched him outside and Freeman keeps the right shoulder in and drives it the other way, well, then that's Gallen's fault. That pitch was inside. It's designed to be on his hands. It's either an out or he screws it up and grounds it right back to the pitcher or maybe to the second baseman. But instead, it got so inside that it jammed him so bad he never really got the bat on it. And it just trickles up the left field line. That's a good pitch. And I'm going to say this carefully because we're talking about a great hitter in Freddie Freeman. That's a lucky hit. And he gets the two-run single, and boom, now it's 4-0. And that's terribly, terribly painful. So I do want to defend Gallen on three of the runs. The error correctly given to Perdomo, but really Fernandez did a bad job on a bad throw. And then the cheesy single from Freddie Freeman. There's three of the runs that Gallen gave up. Not making excuses. He's not getting the job done. He's not pitching at a major league level. He's not pitching at the level of a number 5 starter right now. I have a sneaking suspicion that you are actually going to see Brandon Pfaadt sent down because he's not doing great as a reliever. And then told, hey, you're going to come back up as a starter when we're ready, when you're ready. Thanks for filling in, but you're coming back up as a starter. And then when he dominates AAA, it's going to be, all right, let's see what we've got. Who's going to lose their job now? And Zach Gallen might be traded for a bucket of balls or something like that come the trade deadline. Another one that drove me crazy, 4th inning, Geraldo Perdomo with an absolutely brain-dead challenge. And I don't normally get bent out of shape about challenges. I mean, you see the game, you think it's a strike, you think it's a ball, you know what you're doing, you challenge, whatever. But the team is down 5-0, and Perdomo's leading off the inning, and he's already down 0-2 in the count. He challenges it. He's wrong. It's strike 3. That was the dumbest challenge I have seen in baseball this year. Now, if you're right, you're right. But from a risk to reward factor, do you really think down 5-0 in an 0-2 count leading off the inning, switching that strike 3 to a ball and making it 1-2 for a guy batting .224 on the year is going to dramatically turn the tables and present the team a chance to make a comeback? Yes, you could be an optimist and say, hey, Doug, the comeback's got to start somewhere. But think about losing a challenge there in the 4th inning. I mean, even if he hits a home run, they lose 7-1. You're already down 5-0. There's an old line in baseball, your run doesn't matter. And it's a phrase that's used to teach guys. Let's say you're on second base, your team's down 4-0, and it's the 7th inning. Hey, we need you to score, yes, but it's not worth you getting out at the plate because you can score and we still lose. So we need to make sure we save outs. Man, if it's bottom of the 9th, we're down by 1, this might be the best chance to score. It's certainly not okay to make it out at the plate, but you understand, be aggressive. This, who knows, you'll be stranded at 3rd if you don't take a shot. Let's go. And you try to score. When you're down 5-0, that's an ego thing. That's a desperation thing. I've never said this about Perdomo. It's not in his nature, but that's a form of selfishness. When you think, oh, if I get this opportunity to turn this at bat around, we're going to win. You're batting .224. It's 0-2. You're more than likely going to strike out. If you're not more than likely going to strike out, there's a 78% chance you're going to make an out. Probably even higher percentage if you get that call overturned. Just getting that call overturned does so little. Batting leadoff, down 5-0 for a .224 hitter. That was bad. And those are the kind of mistakes you make. Like they made a bunch of mistakes yesterday that when you're facing the Dodgers, you're a dead duck. You can do that against the Rockies. You can do it against the Giants. So when we talk about, and I admit I was the one that said, hey, these guys lost games to bad teams in the last 3 years, so I am giving them credit. But it is the difference in why you can make these mistakes, make people like me feel better because you're winning, and it's only because the Giants and Rockies can't take advantage of those mistakes. You go up against a better, an improving Mariners team and a top-notch Dodgers team, and you still butcher these situations, and now you're 1-5 in your last 6 games. Now you see why I was grumpy. I love my team. I love the Diamondbacks. I hate stupid baseball. And I think we saw that yesterday. All right, coming up next. This will make me in a better mood. Time for Bobby Mack, Arizona Republic's senior columnist on Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. It's going to be hard to keep up with this list, but from Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical, we have a reverse osmosis system, a tankless water heater, and 2 air scrubbers that actually remove pollens and germs from the air that we breathe in our home. So what does Parker & Sons do? They only handle the air that we breathe and the water that we drink, and they do a great job. Call 602-2-REPAIR. That's 602, the number 2, then REPAIR for Parker & Sons.
It's big, it's juicy, it's meaty. Get your burrito at Burrito Express. If you're having a hangover, a bad day, even a good day, still get your burrito at Burrito Express. It will make you feel better.
This is Angie with Penny Royal Promotions. So it's common thought that all we do is t-shirts. In fact, our name used to imply that that's all we did. But we can literally do anything you can put a logo on. If you want t-shirts, of course. If you want hats, we do that. We can do koozies, banners, pencils, Yetis, coolers, business cards, table covers, you name it. If your logo can go on it, we can find a way to make it happen for you.
It is time for, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Shooting the Bull with Bobby Mack. I'm sensing that you didn't spend any time working on the new title this week.
I felt bad because one of your listeners, a faithful, loyal one, sent me a tweet, or included you, I think, saying, as the guy who came up with the name.
Yes, that was Jonathan, the old captain of the quad squad, who used to scream, yell Ford, flash it out the window when Wolf would be jamming out to Loverboy.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, so I felt bad, so I thought, well, let's roll with it for a while until I really hate it.
Okay.
Then we're doing something about it.
Hey, whenever you are ready. So we are officially now shooting the bull with Bobby Mack of the Arizona Republic.
For now.
You are are you the only man in Phoenix to still be employed by the same employer since you were 18 years old?
17.
17, even better.
No, I'm probably not. There's probably a guy who works at Denny's who's been there longer, or maybe a gas station employee. I don't know. Waitress.
After the brilliance of the Brazil story last week, I love those commercials, those Guinness commercials. I don't know why they got rid of those. Sometimes when something works, you shouldn't abandon it. Like Dos Equis went back to the most interesting man. They realized Modelo has taken over the world and they missed the boat. Like Dos Equis was winning. They gave up on most interesting man, and now they've gone back to him. It's like, hey, it's a little too late, guys.
Speaking of that, what about the old Bud Light commercials where we salute you, man that invented the T-shirt cannon gun?
He was a real American heroes.
Those were fantastic. I sat around with some buddies and wrote our own jingles.
You know, that was the lead singer of Survivor that they picked up to do the guy that would sing after it. You know,
Eye of the Tiger song.
Yeah, that was that guy.
He narrated it.
No, he was the singer, because remember they would go, we salute you, Mr. T-shirt gun operator. That guy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love those. Let's try to make one of those in a future podcast.
Yeah, that would be very
entertaining. Your favorite beer or something.
A mountain. You got to be able to say it like that.
Wendy's big bag thing. Whatever.
Biggie bite, biggie bag, biggie bundle.
Okay. Bundle and save, Doug.
We do have to bumble and save. We do have to get the cheese curds at A Mountain, and we got to take you to Bell's so you can get the Nashville hot chicken sandwich.
Can't do hot chicken. Sorry, I went with Ken Summers to a restaurant in Nashville for a Titans Cardinals day before dinner thing, and I couldn't handle it. I got a little sick.
Oh yeah,
I barely ate it. So no, sorry.
Curtis, they have three versions, so you can go baby bird, mother clucker.
I'm not eating baby bird, Doug.
Okay, I have to eat baby bird during the week. I'm
not eating anything called baby bird.
I go mother clucker if I eat it on Friday, because I can handle it on Friday, because then, you know, sometimes it'll clean me out, Bob. It just cleans me out. We're getting that on the schedule. How was the game June 1st? I forgot it was my anniversary when you said you were going on Monday, because I was planning on going, and then I realized, oh, wait, I'm married 30 years.
You forgot your own anniversary almost.
It's kind of weird. I never forget that I got married on June 1st. I always forget when June 1st is. I don't consciously wake up in the morning and say, today is June 4th. You know, I never think about the date. And then I realized I was a dead duck and I wasn't going to the game. So, how was the game? They actually won that game.
Yes, 4-1. Yeah, I listened to your show Tuesday, rather.
Okay.
When you called out Tommy Troy for his alert bunting ability there in the eighth inning.
I was thrilled. I mean, it's so funny you say that because
I called it out too. It was great.
It was yesterday's show. I was mad at Tommy Troy, typical rookie. I was mad at him because on Tuesday night's game, he came up to the plate when they just had an inning where the same pitcher had walked 4 batters that inning.
Yeah.
The at-bat before, Pavin Smith gets a bases-loaded walk, and then Tommy Troy has a check swing strike on the first pitch. So 2 days before, he's showing a little bit of something there in baseball brilliance, bunting after his first major league home run. And then the very next day, he just has the most massive brain fart of, kid, what are you doing? And I was actually a little bothered at Torey Lovello because there is a take signal. You hardly ever give the take. You only give it 3-0 to young players, but I would have given him the take sign 0-0 because you just can't trust a rookie. And I thought that was bad managing. Do you think managers should hold players' hands and they're responsible for everything? Or do you kind of look at it as, come on, how does this kid not know to do that? I shouldn't have to hold his hand. What's your
I don't know.
Role of a manager?
I know managers and coaches go over the rules about what they expect, what they want in certain situations at all times, and they cover it profusely to the point where you should know that and you bleed that. But sometimes maybe rookies need a reminder. I don't have a problem with Torey or somebody else pointing that out. I don't think that's against going against the grain at all. You know, if you want, what's wrong with doing that? So, but look, mistakes happen. You almost missed your anniversary. Let the kid off the hook. Why don't you?
I will always call him out. It's just the veracity of the call out is determined by level of frustration with that individual. Quote, sometimes
in the night before, you know.
Yes, I agree.
And he had a big impact.
Yeah, I'm glad he was back in the lineup. So I got this quote. Sometimes it's the success of the little things that can propel a team to greater heights. Do you know what that's from?
That's from something I wrote.
That is exactly. That's the opening line to your column in yesterday's Arizona Republic, which is exactly what I'm talking about. It is the little things that drive me absolutely crazy. And I think it's because I don't know if this has ever gotten to you.
Uh-oh.
I know that I don't have the skill to do what they do, but I have the brains to do what they do. You know what I mean? There's a difference. And so when it's a mental mistake, I kind of rank them like, oh, whoa, that's a pressure situation. I can understand that. Who knows how the rest of us would be. But when people make junior high mistakes at the major league level, oh my gosh, Bob, that
makes you a rookie. Don't you cut a rookie a little bit of slack?
I don't on that particular mistake. Other mistakes, yes. But here's the thing. You know, it's if a guy, it's like the guy that's cheated on his wife 19 times and then he says, I made a mistake. Well, like, now, wait a minute.
Right.
Which one? You know, how many times did you answer the phone call? Did you go to the hotel room? Did you?
Let's not compare Tommy Troy to that now. Come on.
Well, here's what I mean. He's walking.
Far too pushy here.
Are you sitting in the dugout not seeing, wow, this guy's walked a bunch of people? Are you not standing on the on-deck circle saying, wow, he just walked in a run? Now you're walking all the way to the plate thinking, wow, he just walked in a run. And boom, you swing at the first pitch. Like, where was the clues? How did the clues not hit him at some point in the last 25 minutes?
I don't know.
You've always been nicer than me. When's the last time you had a wild rant?
Boy, I don't know. There's been probably a few million moments of those. I've learned to calm myself down the older I get, you know, because I got a little bit of high blood pressure medicine going here. So I've got to just chill. I'm embracing life's beautiful things. I'm not freaking out about a rookie check swing like you are. Those veins that pop up in your forehead that I can see right now.
Yeah,
I don't have that problem because I'm like Keanu Reeves. I'm just chill. Which I bring up because I'm writing about Keanu Reeves in Sunday's paper.
Oh my gosh! Well, then please tease us. What is?
I just did. That was it. That's all you're getting.
Oh man! And does it relate to Cardinals, D-backs, Suns? Where is the connection?
It could be. It could be. It might be.
Well, I know it might be. It might be anything.
Keanu and I, we talked about his RV, right? And he and I are going to drive to Brazil. That's what we're doing. Yeah. And we're going to run into Morgan Fairchild too.
Ooh,
it's a story. It's a column, and we'll see what happens with that. But
I can't say that I was prepared for a Morgan Fairchild reference today.
I still love her.
Okay. We
follow each other on Twitter, just so you know.
I did not know that. Congratulations.
Well, it was a lifetime goal of mine.
Oh, I can see why.
Since I found out what Twitter was about, months ago.
Oh, that was
years ago.
It's been longer than that. Natalie Portman is my friend, the Queen Amidala. When she does movies, she sends me signals.
What is that like? What do you mean signals? Chat thing, like the thing that got Hegseth in trouble?
No. Like she'll move her hand in a certain way that I'm the only one that's supposed to know. Like, hey, watch this scene. I did this. I used to tell the girls that all the time. Like this woman in the movie is sending me signals, and for some reason they believed it for a long time until they got older, and then they said, "Dad, she doesn't like you. Get over it."
So it's a made up story.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, my kids still believe in the Leprechaun and Peter Pan.
Aren't they in their 30s?
Yes.
Let's see. Now, the Leprechaun as in Lucky Charms coming out of the box, or Leprechaun as in there's a rainbow, go find it?
No. On St. Patrick's Day Eve.
Okay.
We used to get some golden coin candy,
Yeah.
And some other trinkets, a little green piece of felt, and set up a leprechaun box in the backyard. The box was empty. There was no candy or piece of felt there at the time until the kids went to sleep. And then the leprechaun would get caught, but he'd sneak out, but his piece of his jacket got ripped. So that's the green felt.
Okay.
But because he got away with the gold, he left the candy.
Do you still do that?
Yeah, I'm going to do it for you this year or next year. See if you fall for that.
Hey, anything green, go Bobcats. I'm a big fan of.
Green's my favorite color.
I saw this tweet, and I have to repeat it to you because I still say you were the champion of this issue.
Uh-oh.
And the tweet said, as the Rams are trading for Myles Garrett, the Cardinals are in a contract dispute with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, can anything save us, Bob? I think you're the only man in this city that can save us.
I don't know about that. From what?
From Michael saving himself from himself.
Well, I know I wrote about the Garrett trade and just said, don't expect the Cardinals to do anything.
And why isn't that amazing?
Why have their own problems? Kobe Brissett.
But are they not self-inflicted problems?
Well, yeah, but
okay.
What do you want?
I want a quarterback to be signed by now. I mean, how do you not look at, okay, we got the Super Bowl champions in this division that are probably going to go from one great owner to another. Yeah. We've got the 49ers that, even though they're one of the most up and down organizations in football, anytime you have a Shanahan and a McCaffrey, you've got a chance. And then there's the Rams, who not only have won a Super Bowl recently, but they're all in, it feels like, on another one. And they've got two quarterbacks. I mean, the Cardinals don't have any. And they've got two of them.
They got four.
Yes.
Three of them show up regularly
to work.
Yeah. And I think, okay, so Sunday's column is about me suggesting they just move on from Brissett. If this thing continues on, stalemate into the summer, screw it. I'm going to trade him or cut him, and I'm going to give the reins to Gardner Minshew. And that means I'm probably going to have to do something with Keaton Slovis and probably bag him, bring in somebody with a little bit more veteran savviness to play behind Carson Beck as the third guy.
At this late of a date, are you going to make a trade to do that?
Well, Jacoby's holding out, and he's not going to hold out for a starting job elsewhere because there isn't any.
Yeah.
Now, something could happen in training camps or preseason game, God forbid, on somebody that says, our backup's okay, but Brissett's not a bad idea. So they could trade him, and if they don't trade him, they could just give him his outright release and move on from him. If he wants something crazy in the terms of, I want more guaranteed money, but I also want this amount and base pay above and beyond what you're paying me now. And if it's something ridiculous to the Cardinals, they could just move on from him. And I'm saying just go for it then. Why the hell not?
Are you saying that like is in the near future? Or are you saying hold on to him in case for a trade, but tell him there's no reason for you to come to practice?
I'm saying the longer the stalemate goes on and drags into the summer, you've got to start thinking about doing that.
Wow. Because here's the thing. As much as I can't stand this, and I equally blame both sides. Jacoby, you don't have any leverage. Who's the other teams that are dying for your services?
Right.
And Michael, at what point do you say, wait, I've got all of this cap room and I'm arguing with a backup quarterback. Let's get something done. I still look at it and say they need each other because neither of them have options. So once you get past mandatory minicamp, which is next week, well, then there's nothing. So then he's not missing anything all of July. So when you say as it pulls into the summer, gosh, all he has to do is go one more week and we're boom, officially in the summer, and there's nothing till training camp anyway.
Well, what if he doesn't decide to report to training camp?
Wow.
Then what are you going to do? Mr. I see both sides.
I'm trying to be the leveraged one that doesn't get upset.
I think he's probably going to show up the mandatory camp and just not do anything.
I agree. The new class,
$100,000 and fine, and just choose not to participate, which makes you not get fined, but might get sneered at by Michael or Marte. The Brewers is just going to say, "Hey, we're good to see you. Where you been?"
I learned from the great American philosopher Ron Wolfley. He told me in the locker room, there are two things you do not mess with, and that is a man's money and a man's woman. And the reason why he was explaining that to me is take, for an example, Marvin Harrison Jr. When was it? It was 2 days ago when he said to the media that, hey, it's hard to work on chemistry. The guy's not here, but I totally support him and what he needs to do with his family. If you go out against a guy's holdout, you are just persona non grata for the rest of the year. You don't talk about it. You support every player. He's your fellow teammate. You got to do what you got to do. But I asked this, in your experience, do you think 100% of the people in that locker room agree with that? There's got to be some guys that just are already getting squirrely at Jacoby Brissett.
Well, I'll start with your boy Wolf, my friend, as well.
Yes.
I heard him on his radio station this week say, I would never do that. I totally get a player trying to get as much as he wants and the player support. I would never do that. I signed a contract. And I'm going to honor that contract. That's just how I was raised. So he's saying one thing, but he's also saying something else. Yeah, guys want you to make as much as you can and they're going to support you. But, holding out in training camp or during his season, I don't know. In this situation, Wolf wouldn't have done it. So I don't know. I get what he's asking for. I just think the Cardinals have the ultimate leverage here and could say, forget it. We tried. Sorry.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I think this is
it's drastic. I know, but these times are drastic for the Cardinals. This whole century has been drastic. Come on.
They did have one run, so we'll give them 1.5 with Kurt, and maybe two full runs. One run with Kurt, a half run with Kurt, and a half run with Carson, and they get 2 runs out of 26 years.
Yeah.
Or
such.
Yeah. And it is 26 years. We've had 26 seasons in this century. Or I should say we've had 25 seasons in this century because a lot of people don't understand this.
Okay, here we go. Explain it to us, Mr. Wizard.
The zeros are the finish. So we did not start a new century in the year 2000. We started the new century in the year 2001 because what is 10? How do you get from 0 to 10? 0 is nothing. So therefore 1 is year 1. So 10 is year 10. Therefore, 2000 is year 1 is 1,000 years. So the new century started in 2001, not in 2000.
I didn't say it didn't, Doug.
No, thank you.
Thanks for clarifying that to the whole world.
I didn't know if you understood that. Did you there are things
Look
in
at
life.
Newman. I didn't throw the New Year's Eve parade on 1999.
Thank you.
Okay,
There are
I get
things
it.
people get confused about. Like, do you know that when you exit off the 17 onto Jefferson
at 70 miles an hour, like you do?
Well, then you slow down at the light. You can turn left on that red light.
Yes.
Please, don't sit in the left lane and not turn left on the red light because you don't understand. You're allowed to turn left on a red light from a one-way street to another one-way street.
I always wait for the green light because there's nobody ever behind me when I go to a D-back game.
Oh, well, that's another issue of why aren't more people coming?
Well, it's in the afternoon, early afternoon.
Oh, I see. Are you excited about the return of the Cactus Bowl to Tempe?
You mean the second-rate bowl? I mean, former rate bowl? What's it called now? Cactus Bowl?
It's back to Cactus Bowl. It was the Rate Bowl.
And then they used to play that at the baseball stadium?
Yes, but they also used to play it at the football stadium. So they went from Sun Devil Stadium to Chase Field to Mount America Stadium. That's where they're at now. It just got announced yesterday.
That was in this century too.
Yeah.
I don't feel anything about that, but I'm yay.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Big 10, Big 12, right?
That is correct. However, we are not. ASU and U of A are not considered Big 12 because they were forced into accepting the old Pac-12 tie-ins as part of the breakup. So when it comes to bowl games, they go to Pac-12 games.
Really? That's something new.
Yeah, that's weird. That's why they haven't gone to any of the Big 12 represented bowl games, or they've even played. I forget who it was. I think U of A played a Big 12 team one year in a bowl game because they get assigned as the Pac-12 team.
All right. What was the bowl where Scattaboo and Crazy got sick before the game? College football quarterfinals. What bowl was that? I know it was CFP, but Peach Bowl.
Peach. Yeah.
So
the loss to Texas.
Yeah.
But that's a little different because that's more of the.
It's a bowl game.
Yeah, the Peach Bowl is the bracket. Speaking of U of A, I don't know if you've considered this.
No,
I think we could have some entertaining shows. U of A is in the Maui Invitational.
And you love the Maui.
I do. And in 2026, I think the Republic needs you to cover it.
Well, we'll see about that. Why? Because I can hang out with you?
Well, I'm in negotiations with the company vice president for us to go.
That's your wife, right?
It's exactly who that is.
Okay.
I was, I think it's a wonderful event and U of A's in it. And, shouldn't they send their senior columnist to report on it?
I don't know. I'll let you know.
Okay.
What month is this now?
It's every Thanksgiving. It's always the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, that's out. No, I don't know, Doug. I don't fly as much as I used to. So,
okay.
The whole Brazil thing got me freaked out years ago.
But you've held it in this whole time.
Yeah, but I still begrudgingly take flights. I just don't like to or want to anymore.
What about the Bloody Marys?
I don't do that either. But, if I had a nice, Madden cruiser, I would consider. You can't do that to Maui, though.
That'd be a little tough.
Yeah, I don't like the ocean either. I did go on a cruise last year, but I went kicking and screaming. And there were Bloody Marys involved on that trip, let me tell you.
Where'd you cruise to?
To Mexico.
Oh.
We flew. We sailed out of the Gulf of America.
So that had to be your most fantastic trip that you flew to a boat and then was on the boat. So you did both.
I did.
Yeah.
But it was with my other son.
Okay.
So it was at his bequest. And yeah, it was fun though. A little nervous. I don't do well on water.
Yeah.
Or in the water. That's another story for another podcast.
Do you, going back to Diamondbacks?
Okay. Thank you. No more rate bowl cactus bowl.
Yeah. How
go ahead.
Do you agree? Like, take a look at last year. Mike Hazen says, he doesn't say it, but you guys think I need to sell, and he sells everybody off. I think that's totally the GM's job to judge by the product he's got, make decisions for the best of the future. But for an organization like this, yesterday they announced Corbin Burns has had a setback.
Yeah.
He had a shoulder issue. So that might mean he's coming back in September and he's unbelievably hot and fired up and a fresh arm and he's incredible. It could mean what are you talking about? He's coming back now from a shoulder issue and an elbow issue. Don't count on him at all.
Yeah.
But if you're the GM, this team right now is the last place team that's got a playoff spot. So they're in, but there are actually 8 teams within 4 games of each other. It's for only 3 spots.
Crazy. It's
a mess. And we realize, okay, it's June 3rd. A lot might change, but we're only 5 weeks away from making decisions for the trade deadline.
Yeah.
That's what makes it a little different. How do you evaluate? Are you one that says go all in anytime you've got a chance? Do you say sell it to me, make the players show you, or is it on a per deal basis? You know, how do you handle it?
I write out the 5 weeks, see where I'm at, and then make the obvious call. And if you're in it, you go for it. And if you're not, you don't. It's that simple. You can start thinking about it now both ways.
I'm kind of strange on that, I admit. I would allow the market to tell me what I'm doing. Meaning if I get an unbelievable deal on some guys in my bullpen, or let's say Perdomo gets hot and I get a great deal on, I'm not interested in trading Perdomo, but again, what does the market tell me? I basically look, and even Corbin Carroll, except I admit I need Babe Ruth for Corbin Carroll. So I always say I'll trade anybody, but I don't really mean it when it comes to Corbin Carroll.
I understand.
But just about everybody on my roster, what are you offering? And if I see that I'm not getting great offers to sell, I'm going to start putting out offers to buy. And if I think that price is fair, then I go for that. I let the market tell me, not my team, except for last year. Last year, okay, my team is telling me they stink. I totally supported high.
And they came on strong after, gutting 3 huge guys off the team.
I think it mattered.
They almost got there.
I think it was a little bit of a wake-up call. And I also think, I know the Republic will love me saying this, I think it had a little bit to do with Nick Piccolo. Yeah. He was so fantastic reporting the issues of Ketel Marte that you know how that goes. That once that story is out there, everybody wants to make sure the blame doesn't fall on them. So everybody picks it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of that going on last year.
Yeah, I think it's totally fair.
I don't know what they're going to do, but they've got my attention.
Why?
They do.
Why? Because they're playing well?
Yeah.
For the most part?
They were doing the little things right, Doug. You know?
I read that in the Arizona Republic.
Well, yeah. Thanks. They've got young players who are chipping in. They've got a veteran guy like Nolan Arenado, I don't think we can talk about enough, who's doing fantastic things. Lovello said, he was injured maybe most of the last 2 years with the Cardinals, and he's better now. He is better now. But, man, the things he's doing, I think, don't get noticed enough.
how good are you at separating person from performance? And the reason why I ask this is anytime I am at a press conference, Torey Lovello treats me like the prodigal son. Like, he's so happy to see me. How are you? How's your podcast? Hey, how's like, okay, good. And then he starts talking to everybody. And you imagine, he sees some of these people every day, and yet he treats me, in an incredible way. I'm so appreciative of it. And yet I admit at the beginning of this season, I was saying it's Marte or Torey, not both. I don't want them both. And I was listening to the press conference post game yesterday, and it was like you two were having a conversation. I mean, he was genuinely happy that you were at the Monday game.
Was he?
Well, I could tell by the way he was talking to you.
Was he talking to me?
Yeah. Didn't you ask a question?
I don't think I did.
Oh, yeah, you did. I heard your voice.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I don't really remember.
Okay.
No, for the longest, I covered Torey when the first, I don't know, however many years he was there on a part-time fill-in between Cardinal coverage and this and that, and then the columnist stuff floating around. And I swear to God, and I went up to shake his hand before one of those news. And he's like, "Hi, you're." He didn't know who the hell I was, so I don't know. I'm no prodigal son. I'm more of a senator's son, I think. No, you get away from me, no? Just stand out to me.
No, that's classic.
Wasn't really. I felt uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah, I got
kind of smiles. I mean, I don't know if he knows who I. It doesn't matter if he knows who I am. I'm just there to do a job.
Who would you say is the guy that I don't know how to rate a scale, but who is the guy that you had the most respect for, that you felt the job required you to write something you didn't really want to write?
Ooh, I don't know if I've ever felt like that.
Wow.
What does that mean? Like doing the guy a favor?
No, the exact opposite. The times in my life
where that I don't care about that.
I have had to say something.
Everybody.
This
and not happily. It's just you write the fact. You tell the truth. You don't lie to the reader. Especially.
But it's different when it's an opinion.
Well, an authoritative role, yeah. But even as a beat writer, I mean, the best stories I used to write as a beat guy or just an average Joe reporter covering the Cardinals was they're losing on Sundays. Game stories were awesome. D-backs when they lost 100 and whatever it was in 2004. Best stories I wrote were about how bad they lost and how miserable it was this time. And that was, I'm not going to say it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. I never really worried about offending any. Look, I liked a lot of guys, but when you poop the bed, you poop the bed.
Yeah.
Can't make it any better, right?
Yeah. That's 100% true.
Well,
all right. Plug Sunday. It's Sunday is on. What'd you say? D-backs?
The Minshew dynasty.
Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett.
No, Cardinals and Gardner Minshew.
Well, yeah, but I mean, in relationship to Jacoby Brissett. But yes, the Minshew era.
Yes, that. Let it begin.
I will be reading. Last thing, Teo Mackey is coming on tomorrow.
Yes, America's reporter.
I am very jacked up for this.
All right. How much is he charging you?
Same as you.
Oh, I'm still waiting for that check in the mail to bounce.
It is time for beer, burger, and cheeseburgers, and cheese curds or something.
Yeah.
Do you want? Are you Slice House? Are you Bell's? Are you?
Let's start with the chicken sandwich, the spicy chicken sandwich.
I thought you couldn't handle it unless you want to
hot
get
chicken, the biggie chicken thing.
That's the national hot chicken, but you can get baby bird.
No baby birds. We covered this ground.
At 100 Mile Brewing, they do have a fried chicken sandwich that's bigger than your head.
No, I don't want that.
Okay.
No.
Then
I eat like baby bird proportionately.
I see.
I won't eat baby bird, but I eat like a baby bird.
Then do you want to go to out to Gilbert to Slice House?
I don't know. I don't even know. Oh, is that what the guy, the Italian guy?
Yeah. By
What's
Tony
his name?
Giuliani.
That guy. I don't know. Let me check with my vice president.
Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you, Bobby Mack. Talk to you next week.
Okay, buddy.
Here is Sue Rigler talking about game day at 100 Mile Brewing Company.
Game day here at 100 Mile Brewing is less than a mile away from ASU. So game day, we have the hockey game at Mullet. We've got basketball at Desert Financial, and we have football at Sun Devil Stadium. We have free parking, and you can actually even walk over. We've got a parking garage with 8 floors, so we'll never run out of parking, and it's free. So it's always a buzz and fun to watch the games here.
100 Mile Brewing Company. Fresh. It never gets old.
My name is Aaron. I also go by AG Kleino on Twitter. I've been in the Unplugged Army since the dark days. When my wife and I decided to open Goodyear Fit Body Boot Camp, we purchased our franchise on the sole fact that Fit Body Boot Camp is just an amazing franchise at the support level. The systems they have in place, it's just been amazing, and the amount of energy that's on display by every single owner and coach in the brand is something that we wanted to be a part of.
Still got a lot left. I'm in a much better mood now. Bobby Mack has a way to do that. I do love the yin and yang between us. You know, by the way, we recorded that yesterday before Diamondbacks Dodgers. So I was already a little worked up when I was talking to him, just about like Tommy Troy from Tuesday. And he's making fun of me for being fired up at a check swing on a Tuesday. And then I get even more fired up about the things I see on Wednesday night. But that's a good yin and yang, because he's the type of person, calm down. It's a check swing from a rookie. And I'm like, what are you doing? We walk the bases loaded. We walk in a run. I don't know why I say we, but a walked in run, and you go up there swinging at the first pitch when the ball should never have left your shoulder. Like you're not even remotely up there swinging. That one's still okay. Sorry, Bobby Mack. It's unfair for me to bring it back up after he's already moved on, and now, Bobby Mack's conversation's over. Now I get to bring it back up. I played the football sounder for you because I was really interested in some of the things that Kenny Dillingham said yesterday. Going to be not the greatest audio. No problem with the recording from Sun Devil Source. It's more about it was in the Dickey Dome during the kids' camp. So there's all kinds of kids yelling, running around, having fun. There's music. So you hear that in the background. But the topic, the first guy asked the question, and it's not like, I don't know who it was. I didn't recognize the voice. It's not like the person immediately came out and, said first thing, Jake Hillebrand, good job, but it was clearly talking about specific or somebody recruiting wise of how it's going. And in case you don't know, that's a violation for Kenny Dillingham to talk about even players that have committed to ASU. You can talk about them once they've signed, but a commitment, just having a press conference and say, I'm coming, that's not a regular signing day signing yet. He's not, Jake Hillebrand is not a devil yet, as much as you try to make it out to be. So he can't talk about it. But the person that asked the question brought up the golden ticket, and Hillebrand even said that mattered. So here is CKD.
I can't comment on recruiting or kids that are committed to the program or anything along that side perspective, but it's really cool to see, we had an initiative to do a golden ticket campaign and something to completely change the dynamic of in-state recruiting. We came in and did the same thing that honestly every staff had done here since I could remember, and it didn't work for the first few years. And we made a drastic change. Some like it, some don't, but it was drastic. And I think we're reaping those benefits. And that starts with the relationships that we're building and trying to build with in-state kids and doing it a different way. So I think the Golden Ticket campaign is starting to work, and there'll be more to come in regards to that.
I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get there yesterday with my doctor's appointment, because I would have really liked to ask a follow-up. He said we were doing basically the same thing everybody else has been doing here for the last few years, and it wasn't working, so we had to do something drastic. I just kind of want to know, well, what were you doing? Like, well, what was it that Todd Graham did, that Herm Edwards did, that you felt like you were doing to recruit locally, and it was just not doing anything? I loved the Golden Ticket stand campaign from this. If you don't know, like quick recap. Just like Willy Wonka, they were sending about 20 players in the state a golden ticket, which was, this is your scholarship offer to Arizona State. I liked the idea for the players that got it. I admit, though, I thought it was a mistake overall because of the players that don't get one. Now they're never coming to ASU, and they're bound and determined to prove to you were wrong to not give me a ticket. I almost thought it wasn't worth it. And man, was that a dumb opinion. This is Coach on how the Golden Ticket is working.
One, it's a way that we get to brand who we believe are some of the best players in the state. Like, every coach in America goes and tells everybody one-on-one, you're at the top of our board. Like, that's every recruiting pitch. Well, in our own state, we want to make sure those top kids, we can't just tell you it behind closed doors, right? There is an actionable item that we're doing because we can't say it publicly who our top guys are. That's a violation. So the only way we're trying to, create a brand of a unique level player that we deem as a unique level player by giving them that golden ticket. And I know it's a little bit corny. I get all that crap. I understand. I'm not that naive, right, to understand the negatives of it. But from the side point of it does create conversation about in-state kids. It does create who's going to get it, who is not, the why. It creates questions. And anytime you're being talked about in those lights, it's a positive when it's in-state recruiting. And I think we've already reaped the benefits of that process. I think it's only going to continue as hopefully more golden ticket type kids choose to come to Arizona State.
His answer makes me feel old because of its brilliance, and I didn't see it. What did he say in the first quote that I played for you? First comments of the whole conversation with the media. I can't talk about individual recruiting. Then when we talk about the golden ticket, what happens? Every kid gets their picture taken with the golden ticket. Every kid tweets out, I got the golden ticket. There's nothing wrong with a kid tweeting out a picture of the golden ticket with an assistant coach by his side. Thanks a lot to Coach Jason Mons, tight ends coach of Arizona State, for coming here and delivering me my gold ticket. Nothing wrong with that. That's not a violation because it's the kid sending that out. So then it becomes a big deal. I've got this. And so now it's a way to talk about legally what is illegal to go public with. Illegal within the confines of NCAA rules, not illegal in life. Again, brilliant. He saw the brilliance of getting people to talk. The next one is an interesting question. I like where Kenny went with this. It was just the basic, hey, look at the spring season success. What does that do for a buzz for ASU when ASU softball wins 3 straight in the Big 12 tournament, wins 3 straight in the regionals, and is really just a couple innings away from advancing to the College World Series? Then baseball has a great win against Nebraska, 2 extra inning losses against an SEC team, which could have had ASU potentially hosting a super regional. I mean, That's great energy in the spring. I want to warn you, this is a longer one, 2.5 minutes. But gosh, he brings up so many things that I think are important.
Activating the Valley, different time of year, you have to have different ways to keep the fan base engaged, right? You have to have 12 months out of the year, 11, 10 months out of the year. Everybody leaves in the summer anyways, right? But 12-ish months out of the year, you have to have something that's like, man, people are excited for it. So in spring, from football, we can do football, and people can come out on Saturdays and read all the reports, right? Listen to the interviews, okay? Well, when it's not that part of the year, what is engaging the community? I mean, softball did that one of the highest levels. I joke, we have a little staff group chat, and Megan won the tournament, and I made a little AI thing of her with like a crown, like the Queen of Arizona State, Megan over here, right? Because it was huge for the organization. We're being talked about that time of year, and that matters. When you see Willie and the games that they played, we're being talked about this time of year. Our brand is out there. They just released the NCAA football cover. I don't know if it's official or not, but I saw it on Twitter. Okay, so I'm going to comment on it, right? And Sparky's in it. Holy cow. That's back-to-back years of Arizona State University being on the cover of the video game in some way, shape, or form. Back-to-back years, like the relevancy is growing. Somebody would have told me that 4 years ago, I would have pinched myself, right? So we're getting there. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a constant battle, but we are growing and we are activating in the Valley and better and better and better, but we're not even 20% to what we can really do here. We're really not. We sell out tickets now. We have a great environment, all that stuff. That's like minimum standard of success. That's like me telling our kid he needs to be 5 minutes early. Like if you can't be 5 minutes early, you have no chance to be successful. We can't sell out a stadium in college football. We got no chance to be successful. That's like the entry level of success. Now it's like how many businesses and people who show up to those games who can get more involved. That's that next 80%. We're 20% of the way there. And it's the hardest 20% to get is that initial buy-in of fan base. We have it now. Can we continue that? Can we grow, right, that last 80%? Because we live in Phoenix metropolitan area. There should be no reason we should be behind in some of the areas we are.
You guys good? You got camp stuff? You good?
Scouting report. They'll probably run around by me all day.
I understand if I'm doing a poor job here. Maybe the background noise is too much to really understand what he's saying, and I just gave you 2.5 minutes of it. But he talked about, hey, it's great. Activating the Valley means we're always giving our fans something. It's not just a football thing. And then he talked about the different teams. And then he went into something that really grabbed me because this is one of the sources of frustration a lot of people had with me. I think one of the reasons why I never got fired, but I got fired. I think one of the reasons why it happened is I think a lot of listeners turned on me on Doug and Wolf. I just say turned on. They have a right to do whatever they want. But a lot of listeners stopped liking me because they didn't want the truth. I totally believe that. I realize there's a sense of that can be very arrogant sounding, and that's not how I mean it. But take, for an example, what Kenny Dillingham just said there. That's what I was saying. And I get all kinds of ASU hate from fans that said, why are you anywhere near us? Why do you pretend to be an ASU fan? Don't rip us. You're ripping the fan base, blah, blah, blah. When I used to say, you have Rose Bowl expectations and Sun Bowl support. Now here's Kenny saying, it's great that we're selling out. Thank you. But that's entry level. That's entry level into relevancy. That's the bare minimum if we want to go places, is selling out a football game. Now we've got to go to this point. Now we got to go to this point. Now I would say the same thing in a much more negative tone, in which I would say, you guys are clueless. ASU fans, you are clueless. You will never compete with you thinking the level of support you're offering is legitimate. Never. You'll never be there. And then you have Kenny Dillingham, who's made it there and earned that level of support, and now ASU is growing. So I really liked what he said there. This is the bare minimum. And even though it's so much better than it ever was, all that's been truly done is you got to bare minimum. Congratulations. You're at bare minimum. Now what? His idea for this indoor facility that he wants to build on the south side, on the north side of the stadium is amazing. He wants it to be a football practice building for obviously most of the year, a tailgate building for actual games, so you have a roof and air conditioning as you tailgate. And then he wants it to be a community center. He talked about yesterday pickleball courts being thrown down for different events and tournaments, different camps, different days where fans can just come and be a part of it and throw the football around. I don't know if that vision is really what's going to happen, but it's pretty brilliant. Like, this is a crazy reference. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Golf was invented basically in St. Andrews, Scotland. So the original course of St. Andrews is the legendary course in the world. And it's so hard to get on there to play golf. But it's not hard to get on the course. What's the difference? It's a golf course Monday through Saturday. But because it's a city park, it's open to everyone on Sunday. Not to play, as far as play the game. Can't bring your clubs out. It's just a park. Run with your dog. Take the family. Get pictures on the bridge. It's just a park. People just walk around everywhere. Like, wait, don't walk on you walk in the bunker. Do what you want. Take a picture. It's crazy. It's just a park on Sunday. I'm wondering if that's kind of what it would be. I mean, imagine if you're a big ASU fan and every Sunday that place is open to watch NFL football, let's say. And they have games tuned to ASU players. Giants games are up on TV. You're there to watch ASU players. And if it's not football season, it's just an open park on Sundays. 4 hours, 5 hours a day. You just come in, throw the football around, get pictures taken. It's kind of brilliant. The Rate Bowl, RATE, Rate Bowl, the most recent advertising name attached to the old Cactus Bowl, has now changed its name back to the Cactus Bowl. It's been run by the Fiesta Bowl forever, and they're leaving Chase Field. It was at Sun Devil Stadium forever. Then it went to Chase Field when there were renovations at Sun Devil Stadium. Now it's going back to Sun Devil Stadium. And they had a press conference, had Rudy Carpenter come because he's one of the best players in Cactus Bowl history. And then he was being asked questions about Kenny Dillingham, and I was so impressed with Rudy's honesty.
I'm not going to lie, and I've told this to Kenny. I actually was not a huge fan of them hiring Kenny at first, and I'll be the first. Not because I didn't think he was a good coach. I just didn't think he was ready, right, for this. And I was wrong, and I've told Kenny this a million times. I think he's done an unbelievable job. I think he's been great for the university. I think he's done a great job in recruiting. I think he's done a great job building a coaching staff. I think he's done a great job building the culture. And having somebody who went to school here, his wife went to school here, his whole family is embedded really in the city and the university, I think it matters. And I mean, in my viewpoint, he's exceeded every expectation. I think he's done a great job, and I just hope that we can find a way to keep him here as long as possible.
How about him throwing that out at the end? I just hope there's a way we can do whatever we need to do to keep him here as long as possible. That was kind of interesting. I actually talked to Rudy about Kenny Dillingham, 4 years ago or so, whenever it was. And he knew how much I backed him. And he told me, that's why I appreciate his honesty so much. He told me straight out, there's no way a guy that's just calling plays for the first time in his life is ready. There's no way. And my opinion was, I understand that aspect. The whole time that he had been offensive coordinator on different teams, he didn't call plays. His previous job to being ASU head coach at Oregon was the first time he was calling plays. But I knew he was the guy. And I admit for one of the reasons was you're not going to get anybody else more passionate. Because I knew the job was a dead-end street following what Ray Anderson and Herm Edwards had conspired to destroy the thing. So you have to take a chance on somebody because you're only going to get retreads or young guys. You weren't going to get anybody good. But the thing about him is his infectious attitude and never say die, never stop working. I knew he was going to be able to recruit, and his level of honesty and intensity were going to resonate. And I did think the guy was brilliant. I did. And the other thing about his age, and like Rudy said, I don't think you're ready at this age. Keep in mind the story I've told you about before. His senior year, he tears up his knee in high school. So he starts coaching as a senior in high school. He was a coach on the JV. Then, while he's in college, while he's a regular undergraduate student, he's not going out to parties. He's going to football practice to still coach at Chaparral, and he was calling plays on JV as a college kid and a varsity assistant coach. And he kept moving up. He kept moving up and then became a grad assistant for Todd Graham. It's awesome. So, yes, he's young. But when you start coaching at 17 or 18 years old, however old he was, guess what? You've got a head start on everybody else. And I like that. All right, last one from Kenny Dillingham. This is one of those topics that a lot of you love about Unplugged that I approach. And I admit some of you can't stand the legal ramifications, but there's a new law, Protect College Sports Act, that's trying to make its way through the Senate. There were hearings about it yesterday. Kenny Dillingham was asked, what does he think about the rule or the potential law?
Yeah, I mean, there's $40 million rosters out there, which is awesome for the guys. I mean, I'm all for players. I'm all for this process. At the end of the day, coaches make a lot of money doing this thing. There's a lot of layers to college football that need to be unwinded here. I'm not smart enough to figure it all out. I've looked at the bill, and there's some good things in it. There's some bad things in it. I love the fact coaches got to stay. I think that's an awesome thing for players. I'm really for anything that is driven for players and athletes. And when I say that, I mean all players and athletes. So that's the tricky part. It's like players and athletes finances, players and athletes Olympic sports, all players and athletes. And sometimes those goes versus each other. And that's where this whole challenge and this math equation is difficult, is because you can be for players and athletes, but against the pocket of players and athletes with one stance and for another pocket of players and athletes with another stance. That's what makes it difficult. That's why for us, we just try to be good people, make good decisions, and have more fun working harder than anybody in the country.
What he's kind of looking at is the way that you have the House settlement, and then that would be kind of the cap of, for an example, let's say ASU, you get $20 million to spend on athletes. So he said, great, I'm in favor of everything that's there for the athletes. However, it does create in-house tension, because could you imagine, and I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but could you imagine Arizona State needs a couple extra bucks to get a Cam Scadaboo-like running back, and then Molly Miller goes to a big booster and milks him dry for a power forward? Okay, I'm all for Olympic sports. I'm a Sun Devil. But just from a revenue standpoint, the amount of money you're going to make going to the college football playoff blows away the money you might make at getting to the play-in tournament of the women's NCAA. So let's let the booster get the running back before we get the power forward. Well, how fair is that? Molly Miller's still getting judged by her ability to win games, her ability to recruit. Why shouldn't she fight for every dollar she can get in the NIL and in the transfer portal? So that's what he meant by as soon as you get into the weeds of this rule versus this, well, now it's player versus player, and that can be difficult. The one thing that's interesting about that rule, there's a provision in it that's basically the Lane. I don't know whether it's written in it called the Lane Kiffin rule or whether that's the slang that's been given for the provision. But no coach can be hired during the football season unless there's some kind of tragedy or something like that. So LSU wouldn't have been able to hire Lane Kiffin during Ole Miss's football season. I personally look at that and say, I hate that. And here's why. You're going to say, wait, what? I think it's absolutely ridiculous what Lane Kiffin did. I think it's ridiculous what LSU did. I mean, if you're LSU, to me, I look at it as how can you be so dumb to think that's not going to happen to you? You don't think Lane Kiffin might jump ship again? He's done it to Tennessee. He's done it to the small schools that took a chance on him to rebuild his reputation. And now he's done it to Ole Miss, and you don't think it can happen to you. Oh, hey, we're big bad LSU. Really? Really? Well, here's why I think the rule, however, is dumb. I think that's got to be policed at the level of the contract. Listen, you want Lane Kiffin, and if you sign him to a $30 million buyout, somebody's got to pay you $30 million in order to poach your head coach. Problem solved. Now, obviously, when you hear me say that, the flip side is, well, Lane Kiffin probably wouldn't have signed it. I don't know. I mean, when he's wallowing away at like Florida International or wherever he was, trying to rebuild his reputation, you're the first SEC school to come to him and say, we want you back, but here's our terms. He didn't have a lot of leverage then. You got to have the courage to try to put that in there then. So I don't like the federal government policing things that contracts can. And I also like the phrase, what comes around goes around. Or what goes around comes around, I guess. That was kind of a Wolfleyism there. Because I totally believe the day is coming. Not in the near future. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I think Lane Kiffin's going to succeed at LSU. And I think somebody's going to come along and take him. Because they got more money too. Somebody's got more money. There's always a bigger fish. Episode 1, if you're wondering. I know it's an oddly long show for a Friday. I just got the D-backs frustration. Thought a lot of the points that Kenny Dillingham made were interesting, and I thought I could be kind of educational about some of the issues in the world. And now out of nowhere, there's 2 golf issues that I just find really interesting to talk about from conversations that were had at the Memorial in Columbus, but truthfully, the northern suburb is called Dublin, where Muirfield is, and that's where this tournament is being held that starts today. And there's an issue called the golf ball rollback. I don't remember all of the particulars, but as a quick explanation, you have a robot swing a golf club. How far does the ball go? Well, there's a number. I think it's like 315, let's say. If the ball goes over 315, it's illegal. But what they've done is, it used to be you put settings on the robot. Here's the launch angle. Here is how hard to swing the club. So let's say it's set at 100 miles an hour of club speed. And the robot hits the ball at a certain launch angle at 100 miles an hour. And if that ball goes above 315 yards, that's an illegal ball. Goes past 315 yards. Well, now what they've done is they're changing the speed, and let's say now it goes from 100 to 110 miles an hour, or maybe it started at 110 and it's now 120. Sorry, I can't remember the number, but it's based on a dramatic increase in the club head speed of the robot. So obviously, with the robot hitting the ball harder, and you're increasing the launch angle so the ball goes higher, there's an easier chance of the ball getting to the magic number of whatever the yardage number is. I made it up and said it's 315. So with the club head going faster, the angle of the club going higher, there's going to be more golf balls that test out illegally. And that's what the golf ball rollback issue is, to try to cut down some of the distance that's affecting the game. Well, Scotty Scheffler was asked about different rules and how passionate he is about them. And he was just asked generically, what are you passionate about? Yeah, really nothing. And he kept kind of dodging the question of when the PGA asked Scotty Scheffler or the USGA, what do you think about different items? He's like, I don't really care. And then finally, he started talking about this one, the golf ball rollback.
I think that I agree with some of the principles behind the golf ball rollback. I think when you look at how power and hitting the ball high has become so important in our game, we were actually talking about that today. I was looking at the world rankings, and Russell Henley is really the only guy in the top 20 in the world that doesn't hit it pretty far and doesn't hit it very high. Outside of that, you pretty much hit the ball high and you hit it far. When you look at the major championships, especially the U.S. Open, you look at Augusta National, you look at the PGA Championship, those are the tournaments where you have to hit the ball high and far. And I feel like those are the organizations that are also trying to roll the golf ball back. And I think when you look at the golf ball rollback, when you start moving it back only 8 yards, not only does it disproportionately affect certain players, where you have some guys who it won't affect at all and some guys where it'll affect 15 to 20 yards, I think creates some issues within our game when you start changing the rules. And then on top of that, I think it's a greater issue in terms of golf course design, where power is becoming too rewarded. You look at certain golf courses that we have that are great tests, like a Colonial or a Harbor Town, and they're not overly long golf courses, but it challenges you in different ways. And I feel like they're doing it to make the game of golf a little bit more difficult at the elite level, which I understand. But golf is the easiest game in the world to make hard. Like, if you just make the area small to have a guy to hit the ball into, he's going to try and learn how to control it. When the corridors are big and the greens are big and there's not many trees in your way, guys are going to learn how to hit the ball far. I grew up on a course in Dallas where, when I was growing up, it was a tight Parkland-style golf course, and you had to learn how to hit fairways. The fairways were firm, and if you started hitting the ball offline, the ball would run off into the trees. So I learned how to hit the ball straight. I learned how to curve the ball both directions. And if I grew up on one of these golf courses that had been restored, I'm not going to name any of those golf courses, but there's certain ones where if I grew up on that golf course, I would be like, oh my gosh, I got to learn how to hit the ball so stinking far, because the fairways are wide and the penalty for missing them is not severe enough, in my opinion. And so I think when you look at how power is being rewarded in our game, there's a reason why you see so many guys doing speed training, why you see so many guys spending time in the gym trying to increase their speed, because it's becoming increasingly important in our game when you look at the way golf courses are set up and when you look at golf course design.
I realize if you don't love the game, you probably feel like I'm kind of wasting your time a little bit. But I just love what he's saying. I do not understand. And we're talking about people that know so much more about the game than I do. I'm really not that knowledgeable. I hope you know that. If we're talking baseball, if we're talking football, we're talking basketball, man, I'll argue like crazy. When we're talking golf, I'm a peon in knowledge. But I just don't understand these people that come into golf courses. John Rahm said it great at, when was it? Or at the PGA Championship. When they're doing these restorations of old golf courses, they're going back and looking at blueprints of the golf course, even from the 1800s, early 1900s, and saying, that's how the course looked then, so let's make it look like that again. And John Rahm's point was, well, they made it look like that, and then they planted trees. And now that the trees are there, the trees create the challenge. They create the problem. And when you just gut the thing and get rid of the trees, well, now, hey, look, the course looks just as it did when Abbott and Costello stopped by one time. Well, great. And now the big hitters just bomb it down the course because it doesn't matter. Because the true penalty for a golfer, trees. You miss the fairway and now you've got tree limbs in your way. Sure, there's rough. Sure, there's this. But, man, that's the big issue. And now you're cutting them out. And so there's Scotty going, hey, I'm not going to name any names on these restorations because he doesn't want to insult people. But he's saying all of you are wrong for what you've done. So we have to have the golf ball rollback because you're making courses easier. Like, why are you making them easier for elite golfers? That doesn't make any sense. So now you've got to do it. It's kind of like similar to how I feel about the pitch clock. You're going to laugh at me. I actually don't like the pitch clock. I don't like that we needed it. Like, I admit it's a great invention for the modern game, and I'm glad it's here. But I hate that we need it. We don't need it in 1980s baseball. The pitchers were taught, get the ball and throw it. Because the faster you go through your motion, the more you get the game moving, the better your defense will play. Because they're more engaged because they know that you're ready to go. So the game moved a lot faster. Players started to figure out, especially relief pitchers, if I catch the ball and walk around the mound for 20 to 25 seconds and then throw the next pitch, and sometimes 30 seconds in Kenley Jansen's case, I now have 30 seconds of rest to gear up and throw the ball better. It's not my job to he's actually looking at it. I don't care about the entertainment factor of the game. My job is to get that guy out, and that's it. And my chances increase if I get rest. And walking around the mound a little bit, that provides me rest. Suddenly you put a pitch clock, well, now I got to follow this rule, and I don't get the extra rest. So I don't like that we need the pitch clock. If you say, would you be in favor of getting rid of it? I would actually say no, because I don't trust the players to continue to follow through with the new way of playing. I think they would revert back to their old habits, and we can't let that happen. So I look at this as the same way as I hate that they need to have the golf ball rollback, but my gosh, it ain't hard. Put trees back up, put more bends in the course. Don't always rely on hard, fast greens. Make the course harder. And then let the tee box dictate. So a guy like me can play a course where the tee box is not only closer, but at different angles, which dramatically change the same hole that I'm playing versus Scotty Scheffler playing it. The other one I wanted to play for you is this is me just being Ohioan, I admit. I have never been to the Memorial. I've never been to that golf course, but it's right next to the Columbus Zoo, and I don't talk about this a lot. I love zoos. I love the zoo. Love going to the zoo. And for my first anniversary, not Jennifer's first anniversary. For our first anniversary, Jennifer organized a trip to Columbus because that's all we could afford, and we went to the Columbus Zoo. And I hopped around with kangaroos, loved every minute of it. And at the time, just across the river, we could see Muirfield, and we were watching a little bit of the golf tournament. It was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. Good anniversary. So having said that, because I care about the tournament, I also want to play something for you from Rory about the tournament, but about that course that kind of relates to exactly what Scotty is talking about with the golf ball. That Rory, one of the biggest hitters on tour, who has great control with his driver, says the course takes the driver out of his hands.
You know, for being such a long golf course, I feel like it takes driver out of my hand a lot, which I pride myself on that being one of my biggest weapons. The fairways pinch in right around the spots where I would be finishing driver. So it's frustrated me in a way that, I feel like my biggest weapon is in some way neutralized here, and then I have to play the golf course like most of the other guys in the field, which I think I can. From the place everyone plays from the same spots, Doug. It's more that there's bunkers that I think I can carry that I could get an advantage, but there's really no advantage to it because obviously the rough here is so penal, and then angles into greens, and so it's just about me being a little more disciplined and not being so aggressive with my strategy.
I promise I didn't pay attention when I. That's so funny. Did you hear it? When I cut it is a term in radio or podcasting where you're lifting audio out. I really meant it because he's talking about not using driver. I wanted to make the point, make the course do the work to make the game more difficult. And then he's admitting I can't use my best club here. I've got to win a different way. I liked all that, and I didn't pay attention when he slipped that in.
Everyone plays from the same spots, Doug.
Come on. I think you've heard the intro to Doug's Big One so many times, but I'm so lucky because there's a guy for the Associated Press that's I don't know if he writes for the AP, but there's a golf writer named Doug. So many golfers will say his name when they're answering a question. And then that's where I get, the intros from.
Everyone plays from the same spots, Doug.
I mean, let's do this.
With that, I am happy to take your questions. Let's start with Doug.
I got to add it. I do. I mean, Doug's Big One. How long is that intro now? Oh my gosh, it's already 25 seconds. That's so long. But it's a no-brainer. It's got to be added. Doug.
Where's Doug? Here, sorry, Doug. Where are you at?
Yeah, was that a plug to unplug?
Thanks, Doug.
Doug had given me a stat.
With that, I am happy to take your questions. Let's start with Doug.
This is a great question, Doug.
Well, I can only answer the questions that get asked of me, Doug.
Obviously, Franz is such a good player.
Doug's Big One. If you're wondering, it's the Doug song from The Hangover, into Kenny Dillingham, into a little quick Rory, into Molly Miller referring to Doug Tamero, the media relations director, into Brian Rolap, the PGA commissioner, and then Tori Lavello, and then the hilarious Franz Wagner question from Dwayne Rankin of the Republic. I think what I'll do is I'll take out the Rory "Thanks, Doug" and add the
"Everyone plays from the same spots, Doug."
It's just the Doug. It's the type of response I would always get from teachers, when they wanted to get me, they wanted to stick it to me a little bit. Oh, that's fun. It's time for Versus. Oh no, I'm not dancing. I'm in a bad mood about this. I forgot to tell you, this was the other reason why I was really frustrated. I mean, I don't know if you truly pay attention during Versus Vegas. You just have a good time making fun of me. I cannot believe what happened yesterday. I mean, this is Mikey the Hook. This is every gambler's nightmare yesterday. I am an inch away from a 5-0 day. And I go 1-4. 1-4. Here you go. Just listen to these. Just absorb this. I went for blood money. Told you there's no way the Diamondbacks are involved in this. Went for the Dodgers minus the 1.5 against the D-backs. Dodgers win 7-0. We get that one right. I told you that I like Brunson going over 25 points. Brunson in the game had 30. But I didn't get that one right because I changed my mind and didn't do it. Are you kidding? Like every gambler has that story. Oh, never mind. I don't think he can do it. It's going to be a tough defense against him. So I don't get that one. So the Dodgers game's the only one I got right. I took the White Sox at Minnesota to go over the 8.5. The magic number is 8.5. Add both teams' runs up. It's got to be 9 or more, and I win. The White Sox scored 8 runs. Yeah. Exactly. White Sox win 8-0. I lose by the hook of 8.5. I took the Philadelphia Phillies to defeat the San Diego Padres on the money line, on the run line. So I'm predicting the Phillies will win by 2. Phillies 3, Padres 2. Phillies win. They do not cover. I told you Victor Wembanyama will get 12 rebounds in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Actually, I said I'll take the plus 12. I get a push because the stat was plus 12 and he gets only 12. Well, no, I took the plus 12.5. Wemby got 12. And the last one, Josh Hart, really one of my favorite players in the NBA. I took the plus 24.5 on points, rebounds, and assists. He got 3 points, shooting 1 of 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, and 2 of those threes were wide open threes. 3 points. 15 rebounds, however. 15. 3 plus 15 is 18. So all I need is 7 assists and we get the 25. 7 assists. Josh Hart goes, yeah. 3 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists for a total of 24. And we had him at 24.5. I'm 1 for 4 with a scratched out winner and all 4 losses by the hook. Normally, I would say if you were actually a heavy gift, that's when you just take a day off. Don't keep going. Take care of your family. Don't keep going. Since I've always told you from day one, $5. But yesterday was bad. Yesterday was bad. So, here's what I got for you today. And quite frankly, I'm probably not playing all these because I probably should take a break. I got Minnesota Twins on the money line against the Royals. Minnesota's home. Royals had to travel. So I like that. That's where Minnesota just lost to the White Sox. They're upset, losing 8-0. And the Royals flew up from Cincinnati to get to Minnesota. So I like that one. I actually don't love it, but I like it. I love Yankees covering the run line against Cleveland. And I love Cleveland and the Yankees going over the 8.5. Slade Ciccone, the former Diamondback, going for Cleveland. I think he'll get his world rocked. So I like Yankees to cover and both over. Tonight, NHL, I think with Carolina getting out the jitters of Game 1 and both excellent coaches having more time to game plan. I like that being under the 5.5. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I like a late third period score to make it 3-2. And then golf-wise, I got some really good numbers, I thought. Xander Schauffele finishing in the top 10 is plus 138, so I jumped on that. And Nelly Korda, it's only minus 125. I mean, that's just a standard game, minus 125. I mean, normally average juice is minus 110 anyway. Minus 125 to be in the top 5. That's something you just say, hey, yes, sir, and you jump on. So those are my picks. Oh, no, I've only got 30 seconds. Sound credits today. The sound for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Torey Lovello, I got from dbags.com. The golf sound I got from 10 Golf, a YouTube page. And the Kenny Dillingham sound I got from Sun Devil Source, one of the best places to follow Arizona State athletics. That does it for today's version of Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. Also sponsored by Bell, Santan, Ford, Parker & Sons Burrito Express, 100 Mile Brewing Company, Penny Roll Promotions. Get your Fit Body Boot Camp. I didn't quite get it in. Ow. Trophy Wendy's The Slice House by Tony Shabbat. I think I owe everybody a little bit of a longer advertising rundown tomorrow, Al.
Doug, thank you so much. My best to your listeners, and keep up the work on Doug Franz Unplugged.